Keith, I guess the most important question these days is, are you going down there with a full squad? Are you guys good that way?
We're good right now. I mean, I don't know about tomorrow. We just took another test right now. So
How often are you getting tested?
3 times a week.
And you play again you play your first game on Monday, is that right?
Correct. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
How has practice been going? Have you been able to get enough of your time in, ample time to get ready, considering everything?
Had we played the 25th, I don't think we would have been quite ready. Probably not in as good a condition as I would like right now, but we got cabin fever, so we need to play. That's for sure. Like before we lose our minds.
Keith, is it frustrating?
People have been talking about
the teams. Oh, is it frustrating seeing all these other teams play while you guys are still waiting to play your first game?
No, because I didn't think we were really ready because of the sit-outs we had. So I'd rather be more ready to play than less ready to play. So I don't really get frustrated like that. I just want to play at this point, just to get out of the practice rut, really. Because really, you can tell them this is going to happen or that's going to happen, or if you don't play hard, this is going to happen. But until the reality of the hard wooden seat hits you, you continue to do the same thing sometimes.
Keith, people have been talking about the lack of like preseason scrimmages. What, how does that affect the team? Is that something that you think this team will miss?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of factors in that. Like one, teams are fouling like mad right now. 2, they're turning the ball over. 3, they're not guarding very well. I mean, obviously, the more times you get out there with your uniform on and more game-like situations, the better you're going to be. So I think we're affected because I think, I could be wrong, but I think Little Rock's going to have played 3 games before we play, which is good and bad, right?
How much is that mitigated by you guys having a lot of returning guys? Like how much are you going to rely on the Mike Hughes and the Marcus Weathers and Sincere and guys who have that experience to kind of lead the team through that,
So the big dilemma for me, and so I've coached my whole career trying to win every game I've coached, that the only thing that matters is winning. It doesn't matter, if I don't develop other guys. But with 13 games in the non-conference, usually you get ample time to develop your young players, which makes you a better team down the line. But right now we only have 3 games scheduled, and they're 3 hard games. Like there's no bad teams that we're playing. We're playing NCAA caliber teams, right? So I have to make a decision. Do I develop and try to win, or do I go all in and don't worry about those other guys? It's a hard decision. So I don't really know the answer. I still don't. I'm 3 days away from the game, and I'm not comfortable. Let's put it that way. Because we don't know. We didn't get a scrimmage. We didn't get an exhibition. We don't know who's good and who's going to play good in the game. And, it only takes 1 bad 3 minutes and you lose. So that's the dilemma.
Is that a question that you'll answer? You'll ask yourself an answer as the game goes on in any one particular game. In other words, maybe some guys, you aren't going to use them at the beginning. You put them in for a few minutes, they do well, and you start using them again.
Well, I think, obviously you earn your minutes and you earn your equity and you earn your trust with the coach. So I think that's the biggest thing is, like, until we put them in the game, we don't really know what we're going to get. Like, I think they're pretty talented, but what are we going to get in the game? Do they have enough knowledge defensively? Will they not turn the ball over? Will they not same side help and give up 2 threes that cost us the game? Or will they be all Americans? You just don't know. I knew it once. The only time I ever knew it, I had The one guy I kind of knew he was pretty good, but other than that, I never knew.
What have you seen in practice, Keith, that did from some of the new guys that make you think they might be one of them might be able to help you this year, or maybe more than one?
Well, they're talented guys. I mean, they've got good ability. They have a lot to learn. You know, I think there's multiple guys that can. I think all of them eventually will be good players. It's just whether they can withstand not getting instant gratification, which young people today have trouble with that, especially with the new rule going into effect, transferring, complaining. You know, you just don't know. Like, it's gonna be a weird deal.
Keith, are you guys still looking to add more games to your schedule? Do you have any progress on that front?
Well, we're involved, you know, so if that's progress, I guess that's progress. We don't have anything in writing, but you know, there's some other teams in our situation, like Southern Illinois, Loyola, Chicago. There's a lot of teams that are in the same boat as us now. There's some of the lower to mid-level teams, they don't care about playing, which creates a little bit of a problem as well. So, and then our dates are a little tight because the A-10 moved up the Richmond game. It was the last game of the year to the first game. So that creates a little bit of a problem as well.
Would you consider playing a Division II opponent or a non-Division I opponent, I guess, in non-conference?
I don't know whether I should answer this or not. I guess I'll answer it. I mean, I would consider it. I mean, but I don't think it's up to me. The league really doesn't. The league has a rule that you can't play them, although George Mason played last night and damn near got beat to Queens. I'd play one, but you know, I don't think we will. That was pretty diplomatic, wasn't it?
Let's see.
What's that?
You're the king.
What's that, Zach?
So Keith, when you look at early season basketball, managing early season basketball and the ups and downs surrounding that, how maybe do you factor that in and maybe having more of a leash with either returning guys or the new guys and understanding that there's kind of those peaks and valleys when things start?
So you'll just do, I think, 4:15 or whatever time.
That's challenging for me. I mean, I think I've grown into more patience and less aggressiveness, but it's still a challenge. So if you don't have high expectations and you don't have high standards, then you'll never achieve at a high level. So while I'm understanding of where we're at, I'm still not going to like it.
Keith, I know there's probably like that preseason angst of not exactly knowing what the team's going to be anyways, but like, you know, the returning guys that I mentioned earlier, like, do you feel like this team is further along than they have been maybe in years past at this point? Does that?
Well, when you say further along, we've proven we can win with the group we have. I mean, but as you know, 1 year to the next doesn't always transfer. And there's been a lot of, I think the biggest thing is there's been so much change, the environment, nothing in the spring, very little in the summer, shutdowns in the fall. Like, we may not get the real McCoy until the middle of February. You know, that's probably the biggest thing, Mike. So every team reacts differently to different adversities, right? So it looked like St. Louis got out of the box pretty good the other night. You know, they look like the Lakers certainly handled the layoff better than the Clippers. So everybody's a little bit different, you know, and everybody has different opportunities. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, my takeaway from all of this is you're just so unknown. It's so unknown what's going to happen that even if we get off rough or we get off great, I don't really think any of that matters. Like, if we get off rough, we're going to have to rally them. If we get off great, we're going to have to spank them, you know, because we have to get better every single day in order to really get what we want.
Give us all the information that we need.
Keith, you guys have had to be chameleons. You guys have had to be adaptable. You guys have managed everything. How much is this year, in terms of defining things, more about adaptation and just overall resiliency?
So I would be a liar if I didn't tell you it was getting old. Like, I'm so sick of being in the rec center and in the crappy offices. And I'm sure our guys are too. Like, it's hard. Like, you know, it's a tough deal. You know, we've made the most of it and we've never made any excuses, but, you know, I really didn't sign up for being, what is it, Dave, 18 months? You're on mute, Dave. Is it 18 months we've been in this building?
I think I'd have to count them up.
So
Close.
again, like, it certainly isn't ideal not having a shower or a locker room, because you can't even use the locker room now because of COVID. The racquetball room, I should say. So, I mean, ask Andy Toole. It wasn't too much fun for 2 years of Robert Morris. And he has a good program, but they struggled in those 2 years. Now, we did a good job last year. And again, I think we can do it again, but it's not easy.
Keith, do you have an update on the new place? Do you know when it will be done? Any dates in mind?
Just what I hear, which I'm not counting on any of it. You know, like, when we get in the building, we get in the building, right?
Was that progress slowed by COVID? Like, was it behind schedule because of that?
Yeah, the governor, you know, shut everything down for, what was it, 2-3 months. So we were supposed to be in it from the beginning of the year. So, I mean, so it's again, look, it is what it is. And we have to be tough enough to win games regardless of our circumstances. But I can tell you one thing, we certainly aren't going to be spoiled.
Why not take them into the
Keith,
closet?
assessing your playbook, offensive and defensive, and simplifying things overall, is there a case of simplifying things, or are you going to be stubborn with that defensive approach and with the keys and the bread and butters on offense?
We're relatively simple defensively, you know. Offensively, we're a hybrid, so we do a little bit more than most people. We certainly aren't simple on offense, so that kind of hurts our younger guys a little bit, you know. But, you know, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. And then we're spending extra time with our younger guys, bringing them in early, trying to teach them the playbook and the terminology.
Keith, you were on pause for a while there, but have your guys been able to practice, when you did have practices scheduled, were most of your guys able to get in enough practices of the ones you had scheduled?
Yeah, you know, since we didn't start on November 25th, Jerry, we got more than enough time to be ready to play. Like I mean, we're not perfect. Like, we don't have some late game situations in and some stuff like that, but overall we've got our base system in. So it's just going to be a matter of whether listen, for us, it's simple. We've got enough ability. Do we have more ability than the rest of the league? Probably not, but we've got experience, stability. And if we grow emotionally, we'll be right there. And if we don't grow emotionally, we'll be right where we were. So we just have to grow emotionally. I mean, we have to really take the next step maturity-wise and emotionally. Be more consistent. But you think about it, we won 6 games on the road in the Atlantic 10, right? You got to be pretty damn good to do that. And then we lost some games at home, but really we didn't have any home games. So really we were 11-7 on the road in the Atlantic 10 last year.
Do you have a preferred home away from home court? I guess would it be PPG at Paints, or is there a place that you like playing compared to other places as a home court?
So no, the one good thing you'll always get from me is the absolute truth, right? And right now, because of everything, I hate playing at PPG. And the reason is it's a barn, you know, and there's no fans in it. So I'd like to play in the smallest place we can play in. I mean, other than the big time the big time appearance of the building. Unless you're filled up like when you play Dayton, it's a hard place to really get a good vibe unless you put 8,000-10,000 in there, in my opinion. That's what's going to be nice about our building. I didn't answer that question. I purposely so, because I don't know where we're going to be playing.
Keith, I can guess at your starting lineup, but I don't want to guess. Can you give us your starting five right now? Are you ready to do that?
No. I mean, if everybody acts right, you can guess it. But if everybody doesn't act right, you can guess it.
Keith, there's a few nice parks over around, like Shady Side. You guys could play some games like that. It's just a nice small environment.
So when I was a little kid, it's funny you say that. When I was a little kid, they used to bring me in. My mom and dad brought me in to see my grandmother. And there's a little park over there at Mellon Park. You know where that is?
Yeah, that's right. That's where I play pickup in the summers.
So my dad used to hit me ground balls at that park. And it's crazy what you remember, right? I remember one hit me in the forehead, took a bad hop and hit me in the forehead. So like I've been around Pittsburgh a little bit more than what people realize. I went to Penguins games when I was a little kid. I went to the Pirates games at Forbes Field. I saw Sandy Koufax pitch at Forbes Field. And I remember having a rubber ball that I used to throw against my grandmother's steps. It's crazy what you remember.
So that sounds like that was the first, that was where you learned to get hit by pitches so well up in college.
No, I don't know about that. Like I wasn't that dumb at that age. But I had a dad that spent a lot of time with me as far as, making me a decent player.
Marcus, how excited are you to head to Louisville and actually play some basketball against someone aside from your teammates?
Super excited. I feel like this is just a great opportunity for our team, especially to showcase, a lot of our new guys and just a lot of the stuff we've been working on. So I'm super excited about that.
Marcus, there are a bunch of returners on this team. How far ahead do you feel like you guys are, or how well were you able to pick up from where you sort of left off last year, even with all the kind of pauses in the action, I guess, over the summer with all COVID and all that?
I think as far as our returning guys, I feel like a lot of our guys are ready to go. I feel like Lamar, especially Lamar's made a really big jump from where he was a year ago. He's really confident in what he can do as a player, and he's really confident as a shooter right now. He's shooting the ball really well. I feel like Mike, he's ready to make a big jump as well. And as far as defense on the defensive end, he's picked it up to a whole nother level, and offensively he's looking really good as well. So I feel like our older guys are looking really well.
Marcus, have you been watching a lot of basketball in these last 2 days? And if so, what games have you been watching? Have you been watching other Atlantic 10 teams play, teams that you guys are going to play in Louisville, or are you just watching whatever's on?
Yes, sir. I've been watching a lot of the basketball games. It's gotten me really pumped. As far as the A10 games have gone, I've watched a little bit of the VCU games that they've played. I watched Rhode Island. They did really well. And I really got the privilege to watch my brother play again. It's been like 2 years since he's played again. So he played last night. Was it last night? I think it was last night. He played last night. So they played Washington State and they lost. But it was really good to see him out there playing, and it got me really excited to play.
Marcus, what's this past year and the last 2 years, I guess, been like without a home court, without a place to practice, a regular place to practice, and then now with all the COVID restrictions? What's it been like for the guys to put up with all that?
I think it's just been an adjustment for our guys. A lot of our new guys haven't really got the college feel, so to say, but I feel like they're adjusting really well to not so much having a home court. I think they're really taking on the identity that we took on last year when we didn't have a home court. I feel like we're a bunch of underdogs. We go through a lot of stuff, but the one thing about our team is we just adapt. So I think adaptation is the biggest word for our team.
Marcus, you mentioned a few guys, a few returners that have made big jumps in Marcus and Mike. Are there any newcomers that stand out to you as guys that you think have impressed you or that can contribute right away in a major sense?
We got a lot of guys. I think Toby's gonna be a really big factor for us. Super athletic, super versatile, can play a lot of different positions. I like Dre Harris a lot. Super versatile. Another one of those guys who you can just plug in and play right away. Really good body, really good motor. I like a lot of our guys. Jet's shooting the ball really well so far in practice. Mikey's been really well handling the ball, being a combo guard. So we got a lot of guys who are looking ready to play.
Marcus, how tough is it to judge practices right now, just given that you haven't had that game action? I know that you guys have been banging bodies against each other, but it's obviously going to be a different feel when the lights come on.
It's very, I want to say it's very different just because, you could practice a certain way and then in the game, just like you said, it can be very different. I think, especially for our newer guys, I think, just for them being able to play the first game, it's a good thing for them just to get that feel of what to expect and just exactly how the college game is played. So I think it's going to be really good, really beneficial for our younger guys.
Marcus, what would you say this team's biggest area of concern is right now because of the pandemic chaos? Is it, are you guys in not the best shape? Would you say maybe shooting just because your legs might not be ready? Is it scheme? Is it confidence? What would you say is your biggest area of concern right now when you look at this team?
I don't think we necessarily have a biggest area of concern. I think conditioning is one of those things that is in the back of our mind, like how ready we are to be able to go up and down the court for numerous trips before a media timeout. But I just think we're just ready to play. A lot of our guys are just looking forward to playing and being out there and getting their first experience. And then a lot of our older guys are just looking to get back out there and get that college feel back.
How does this season compare for you personally, entering what figures to be your last season of eligibility? How does that change things for you, I guess, in like an emotional sense, maybe a mental sense, even given everything that's going on? How does this compare to past seasons when you entered, knowing that you were going to contribute, but that you had a few more years left ahead of you?
This year for me is extremely different. I think personally, me, I've been through a lot. So for me this year, I just don't want to take anything for granted. I want to just be able to go out there and just play as hard as I can and, just live with the results at the end of the day. I'm super excited to play. And it's just one of those things that I really just can't take for granted, So anything could happen. So just want to be able to play hard and, live with the results at the end of the day.
Marcus, what have practices been like? Have they been more intense or more scrimmaging or anything to sort of make up for the lack of the, formal preseason scrimmages or more non-conference games or anything like that?
A lot of learning. We've been doing a lot of learning, a lot of plays just for our younger guys, just getting them acclimated to like our system and what we run as a unit and what we look for in our plays and stuff like that. We do a lot of high-low stuff. So, a lot of our young guys are just trying to get used to that. But as far as scrimmaging goes, it's been super intense. A lot of our young guys are super aggressive, super edgy. They play with a chip on their shoulder. So practices have been very intense. So especially scrimmage wise.
So in that high-low stuff, you just tell them, feed me the rock, man. I'll take care of it from here.
Not so much feed me the rock, but just kind of just guiding them and what to look for, especially out of the system, because there's a lot of different things that can go on when you're doing a lot of high-low action. So if it's not there, swing it, ball screen, stuff like that.
Anything else for Marcus? You guys all set? Thank you. I'm recording this. I'll send you out a link to the recording if I didn't screw it up. So hopefully you'll get that. And again, we'll be doing Zoom calls post-game from Louisville. roughly 2 hours after the tip time. And like I said, our notes should be up tomorrow morning. Again, Little Rock plays tonight. This is their second game. They will have played 2 games before they played us, just so you know that. And I guess that's it. Any more questions for me? Are you guys all good?
Dave, you're playing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's 3 games in 5 days. And we'll come back Friday afternoon or later.
And those are your only 3 non-conference games that are scheduled so far?
Correct. The only 3 that are on our schedule right now. Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys. All set?
Appreciate it, Dave.
All right,
Thanks, Marcus.
thank you. Hope you had a good
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good talking to you guys.
Take care.
Yes, sir.